Tell me your craziest 1 in a million story. Something that happened to you that you just can't believe was real.
Back in 2013, I used to work at this bar in New Haven, Connecticut called the Russian Lady. I end up working with this girl who's Dominican like I am and also adopted from Dominican Republic. Super cool. We shared the same story and we hit it off right away. We got along. Everybody started noting how we looked alike and, we're probably sisters. Child, anyway. We hung out all the time. We started twinning. We wore the same clothes. We actually bought shirts one day that said, I'm the big sister, I'm the little sister. So we used to fuck with people all the time. Fast forward to 2021, and I finally convinced her to take a 23andMe test. Let's see. You're adopted. Let's see if we can find your family. We got the results in yesterday. I'm her family. I am her sister. Same mom, same dad.
So my dad always wanted a son. He just kept trying, and he just couldn't give up. I have 3 sisters. He kept trying. And then there was me. I was finally born. I wasn't supposed to be born on the day that I was born. I think my due date was earlier or later. I forget. But my dad, the day that I was born, he had to cancel work. And the day that he had to cancel work, he had a security meet on the 101st floor of Tower 1 of the Twin Towers. And I was born on September 11th, 2001. So my dad didn't go to work that day, and he got a baby boy. Oh.
Tell me your 1 in a million story. In Russia we call this cola or Coca-Cola, but in motherfucking America you say it Coke for some reason. Well, when I was 13 years old, I went to New York for a few weeks for a summer camp and I didn't know how to pronounce this shit correctly. So I go to this little store and I say, can I have Coke? And the cashier is male and he's like, what? And I say, you have it, Coke, big, black, Coke, you have it. And the cashier is like, yeah, I got one, what's up? And I say, here's the money. My English was bad, by the way. And when I gave him money, he said, no money, free, I'll give it to you for free. And you know what I said? I said, oh my God, thank you so much. America is indeed very nice. This is my first time getting cock for free.
Tell me your craziest 1 in a million story.
6 months and 50 seconds. Let's go. I had a car that someone stole, unauthorized use, while I was sleeping. They used it in a crime, got shot up, blood, everything. Because of that, and they couldn't find me, they assigned homicide detectives. CSI releases the car a few days later. I go, take it, gets totaled. I had equity in a car, but not enough to buy another one. They only give me $213 back. Go to a car lot, find a good deal on a car, not the car I wanted, but scrounge up some money with the $213. Bam, time to get a car. In between paydays, though. Get outside, realize the tires are bald, so I spend 4 hours with them giving me new tires. Go home, park the car. Move the car because in my neighborhood there had been break-ins, so I park it on the street where other people were parked. Wake up the next morning, boom, somebody hits the new car. A month to the day that the last car got totaled. A woman hit me, another woman, and totaled all 3 of our cars. Come to find out she didn't have insurance. My insurance had to sue her, she goes missing. Because I got such a good deal on that car, I had way more equity. Get a check, go buy a new car. Come to find out the guy that was selling me my car was on the phone with an insurance company trying to sell her one but couldn't confirm insurance. 3 months later, go to a new doctor. The lady behind the counter was the lady that hit me.
So I'm a freshman in high school. It's 2008. We get to school on the bus and there are news vans everywhere. News people, parking lots packed. No one on the bus has any idea what the fuck is going on. We get into school, everything's relatively normal, but I have gym first hour. So I head straight to the gym. I don't see anyone around, none of my classmates. And I get to the hallway, to the locker rooms, and there's a giant curtain. Go through the curtain, don't think anything of it, and then there's 20 men staring at me. All in suits, all like, why the hell is this kid back here? And someone walks through them, greets me, and says, I don't think you have gym today. I'm very sorry. That man was future President Barack Obama.
My medical history, like the whole thing. So I was supposed to, I wasn't supposed to make it past my 13th birthday. So I arranged my own funeral and everything, and then I survived. I've had 3 cardiac arrests, 2 PEs, 24 operations. Something happens every year. I've had temporary paralysis, and now I can move still. I've had Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, which is broken heart syndrome. And within 20 minutes, a doctor said to my parents she is going to die, so say goodbye to her. And they put me in a coma, and I was supposed to have a heart and lung transplant. But 3 days after my coma, I was all right. I was doing better. So I keep surviving everything, and I'm not sure why. And the doctors don't know why I'm still here either. I shouldn't be, but here I am.
Boy, do I have a story for you. I've been waiting to tell this story. I still cannot believe this is actually real, right? So I was seeing this guy, but we weren't like official or anything. He was kind of like a friend of a friend, so it wasn't like we met online or anything. And we decided to go on a night out together. So we're both in the smoking area, have a little conversation, and then he tells me that he has a child, which is absolutely fine. I literally didn't have a problem with that in the slightest. Bearing in mind I work in a nursery, so literally wouldn't have been an issue. So he started to tell me that he doesn't have access to his child and he doesn't really see his child that much because the mother won't let him. He literally told me he was going to court and everything because he wanted access to his child that desperately. So a couple of days later, I'm talking to him about it and he seems really confused, like he doesn't remember telling me that he had a child. He said that the mother of the child works at a nursery as well, and it all just sounded a bit too familiar. So it turns out that his child attends the nursery that I work at. In my room, I've seen his child more than he has.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this in 60 seconds. Okay, so for context, my name is Corey. I'm 30 and I've lived in Ireland for the last 8 years. And a couple of years ago, I wanted to bring my then girlfriend back to Portland, where I'm from, for a visit. And she wanted to go have the American diner experience. You know, pancakes, can't go wrong. So I go to this diner in my hometown, and we're sit down having breakfast, and this woman walks in, and she kind of looks like my mom, but a lot older, and I don't think anything of it. So we're eating our breakfast, and she keeps staring at me. We're having this like stare off, like back and forth, and then she decides to get up, and she comes over, and she sits down next to me, and she says, "Is your name Corey?" And I said, "Yeah, who are you?" And she's like, "I'm your grandmother." And I frickin' shat myself, and it was my grandma that I have not seen since I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Tell me your craziest 1 in a million story, something that happened to you that you just can't believe was real. I lived in Red Wing, Minnesota in 1999, going to school to build guitars. One Friday night, we all got together at a classmate's house. Real dank situation. PBR cans everywhere, illicit posters on the wall. Nobody took off their winter boots when they came inside. And in the kitchen was a table with 2 chisels on it. And those chisels were there so that you could carve whatever you wanted into the table. Pretty fun idea, actually. So everyone's in the kitchen hanging out. One guy's gesticulating wildly with one of the chisels. He goes like this. The blade flies out of the handle and through a dude's earlobe on the other side of the table and just dangles there. Everyone just shut up. And the guy goes, "You threw a chisel through my ear!" Because that's what happened. It was just hanging there. 1/4-inch blade hanging from his ear.
This was in December 2018. I bought shoes from JD Sports and entered the lucky draw. A few weeks later, I got a call from their staff congratulating me for winning the grand prize. At first, I was shocked and I didn't believe it. I thought it was a phone scam. And anyway, I didn't have high hopes for what a grand prize actually meant. And I didn't even bother asking what it was. Until at the end, she told me, "Oh, by the way, it's a great prize. It's a trip for 2 to the UK." The price was equivalent to 10,000 Singapore dollars, which covered airfare, accommodation, and 10-day package tour around UK and Scotland. I was able to visit London again and check out a few places for the first time, like Stonehenge, Liverpool, and Edinburgh in Scotland, to name a few. It's the biggest prize I've ever won, and what's the lesson here? Never be lazy to join the lucky draw, because you might be the lucky one.
Picture this, you're in 2012, the PS3 was still popping, and BO2 shit back then. There goes me entering a random lobby, did not have friends to play with, entered this lobby and met this guy that was playing by himself. After playing together for a while, we became some best friends, and then we asked each other about our real name, what was your real name, and where you from. So there we go, we're exchanging our information, our names, and then later on we asked each other where we from, and then he says that he's from the same city I was from. So if he lives in the same city, I then ask him, wait, what school do you actually go to? Because I was just thinking, wait, he might actually go to the same school I go to if he's from the same city. He then told me that he was actually going to a private school. And then after all these months of playing, I really wanted to meet up with this guy. So I told him if he could actually meet me at this park that was literally in our city. And he was like, Dude, that's literally right behind my house. That park is literally right next to my house, and that park was literally behind his house. So we literally lived right next to each other, and we didn't know each other, and it's funny how we met online. It was crazy. He's still one of my closest friends, too.
So I was on my college spring break trip with all my friends, and we were drunk on the beach playing with the football, like tossing it around, and when we were done, I went and rinsed my hands in the ocean, thinking nothing of it. About 5 minutes later, I looked down at my hand and realized my engagement ring was gone, and went full-fledged hysterical, told all my friends, and immediately they had, within minutes, everyone on the beach, from families to children to drunk college students, looking for my ring. I was a mess, so they sent me up to the room, but they literally took shifts all through the night to make sure no one with a metal detector found it and didn't know who it belonged to. Here's me being super sad, because at this point I thought it was hopeless and I was never going to see my engagement ring again. The next morning we went down to the beach, and my friend found this guy. He looked for 3 hours and was getting ready to give up, and then all of a sudden he hit on it, looked in his bucket, and said, "Well, I think I found it." And David from Canada is an angel who found my engagement ring 15 hours after we lost it in the ocean.
My grandpa died in 1989, and when they did, the family had to sell all of the belongings, including the house, the car, and the truck. 2 years later, my grandma, who had been in the nursing home, also passed away, and when she passed away, she left me $500 in her will. It came at the perfect time because I was married and pregnant and in desperate need of a new vehicle. My husband and his dad looked around, and they found a 1977 Dodge Monaco, which is so big that when you turn a corner, your back wheels come around the corner 30 seconds later. Anyway, the car was $500. It was perfect. And about a week later, I noticed there was a bumper sticker on the back for the local Christian radio station, which was the only one that my grandparents listened to. And the dealer mark on the back was also where they bought their cars. My dad and I checked into it, and it turns out that I had actually bought my grandmother's car with the money that she had given me in her will.
When I was younger, I was traveling with my family to this rural part of India for vacation. While I was walking, my uncle noticed my shoelace wasn't tied, so told me to move to the corner and tie my shoelaces so I didn't trip anyone in the crowd. So I moved to the side and started tying my shoelaces, and while I'm tying them, I noticed a hand reach out and grab my glasses off my face. I was super confused, to say the least. Like, why would anyone be grabbing my glasses off my face? So I look up and I see a monkey looking at me straight in the eye. Naturally, I started screaming. The monkey got scared and ran away, taking my glasses with it. At this point, I was crying and completely traumatized, but a kind man was able to give me my glasses back, all chewed up, and yeah. So basically, the rest of the trip, I had my glasses like this on my face and nothing I could do about it. So while it convinced my mom that maybe it was time to get me some contacts, to this day, I am deathly terrified of monkeys.
I was in a restaurant in another state. The waitress comes up to me, takes my order, and then looks at me and says, "Are you Julie from so-and-so high school?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "You don't know me. I was 2 grades younger than you. My friends and I were in charge of counting the homecoming votes, because we were on student council, and you actually won homecoming queen. But we switched it with our friend's name, and we announced her as the winner to the teacher. So our friend was crowned homecoming queen instead of you." And she said she felt sorry and guilty. And I said, "That's fine. Just give me a glass of wine."
Okay, so March 2018, I got a Instagram message from this guy I didn't know, but he had a blue check next to his name. So I called my dad and I was like, "Who is such and such?" And he was like, "Why are you asking?" I was like, "Well, he just texted me on Instagram." And he goes, "That's a soccer player. Do not respond." So of course, when he said do not respond, I immediately answered. And fast forward 5 days later, he flew me to Marbella for a first date. Our first date lasted 12 days and it was absolutely amazing. 1 year later, he flew to New York to propose. The year after that, a month after that, I actually moved to Europe and we got married. A year after that, we had a baby, and now 3 years later, we are the happiest we've ever been, and we have a dog and a baby, and we live in Europe. And
one of my students' parents worked at a casino, and he got me free tickets to see Patti Labelle in concert. So I went to this concert, and I was so excited. And when I got there, I sat down by a wonderful lady. I didn't know who she was. and Patti LaBelle was singing. We were just clapping, having a great time. And then she asked people to come up and sing with her. And the lady I was sitting by pushed me to go up to see if Patti LaBelle would just choose me to sing. And she did. And I got backstage and went on stage with her. And I began to sing. And we tore up the place. It's on video if you haven't seen it. The best time of my life. People thought that it was staged. It was so good. I never will forget that.